Hello, colleagues. Welcome to today's workshop, AI Literacy for All, in particular, the GPA training workshop. So you can find the slide deck through to this link. So hongkongu.to/AI Literacy ChatGPT. We will have a series of trainings on various kinds of AI tools. So let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Leonie, a senior e-learning technologist in Technology and Rich Learning Initiative. And I'm also an associate editor of IEEE Transactions on Learning Technologies, and also with some other memberships, etc. So I hope I can have an enough experience and that can be shared to all of you. We will have a series of workshops for staff and students. So this one is the AI literacy for the ChatGPT for all, and in particular ChatGPT, we will have 2 sessions. We also have workshops for Notion AI, Python prediction, Stable Diffusion, and Canva AI, which cover various kinds of generative AI things on creating images, creating present materials, creating structured data, creating writings, etc. So today is about ChatGPT. And we will spend some time on some introduction first and jump into ChatGPT, in particular the prompt design. How should we write the instructions? How should we inform computers to do the work? As far as we know, we can now use Microsoft Cloud to access OpenAI surveys. That is the ChatGPT. And we will go through some of the demonstrations through this workshop. And this training is more on tools, but less on learning design, pedagogical discussions. If you want to know more about learning design, etc., so please come to the physical workshop or go to attend a CTL events or even some trainings, discussions, etc. So we provide various opportunities for all of you to voice out and discuss. So let's talk about introduction. Generative AI actually happens starting from last summer. So in particular, it's drawing content. You can see from here, this is created from Midjourney, and we can use Stable Diffusion Midjourney to create this kind of images. So we can use AI to create this kind of content through text descriptions, creating image through text, create music through text, create videos through text, and of course, we can create text through text. Of course, it's nothing new. Again, everything is machine learning. It's based on existing data set to create something following the existing patterns. So you can consider it something new, but actually it's also still within the following the patterns. And of course, there are lots of applications. So here shows one of the art design I draw. So through Midjourney or Stable Diffusion, I will also show you some examples on the text content, so which is through ChatGPT. And of course, the first example is actually the previous page, and today's workshop is I actually asked ChatGPT for help to create. For example, I first asked the system, so list out 8 things that should be learned, and then the system lists out 8 of them. I combined 5 of them into 2 topics because some of them overlap, some of them are related to each other. So I combine all of them, change other terminologies. The other one is to create a definition of generative AI, which will be used next page. So although I already mentioned, so it should be understood by learners without technical background, but it still has some technical information. So I simplify it, I remove the details, etc. So you can see, at least we can actually use ChatGPT on various scenarios. I will show you some of our experience, my scenarios that I encountered before. So of course, there are lots of concerns. So I will just quickly go through these slides. The rest we can go to we can discuss in the various events later on. Of course, privacy. So whether your information, students' information will be sent to Microsoft or OpenAI for storage. So that's the privacy issues. Who own the content? The student, the teacher, the company, etc. So this is something that can be debatable. Accessibility. So right now it's not an issue because we can use ChatGPT through Microsoft surveys. And you can use some other tools. I will talk about those tools later on. Bias. Training data is maybe biased. So biased training data, of course, will give a biased results, or biased prompt will also give a biased result. So this is an issue. And replication of false content. Again, ChatGPT is very confident on saying something which is created by something that is replicated by themselves. So it's something completely maybe nonsense, completely something which is wrong, but they are very confident saying it. Of course, most teachers have concerns on the misconduct. So whether students will just copy and paste the questions to the system, create the content, and then just paste, submit directly as an assignment. So this is a misconduct issue. And of course, for Hong Kong U staff, we are now can use ChatGPT with some restrictions. So please check the terms and conditions, which will be shown within the system. Again, so it's just for work and research purpose. We also have various kinds of things. So please go to have a look. Okay, let's jump to ChatGPT. So again, all those materials are from Prompt Engineering Guide. I extract some of them, convert into our educational scenarios, and feel free to go to that GitHub to look for more information. ChatGPT, so it's a conversational bot that significantly transforms the landscape of how we learn, how we talk, how we think, how we learn, so how we work. So which is this is my opinion. Is back and forth. So again, it's not just a Google, but because you can't communicate with Google actually, but this is a bot, so we can tell the system something, and then they give us some response, and then we can reply, asking follow-up questions, etc. And then you can give some response, very detailed. So you need to instruct the system so what to do, and they will give the response. So you can consider it's a kind of a tutor or personal assistant, which is a 24/7 assistant. So for T&L purpose, that means a personal 24/7 tutor. So they can help students or teachers to get the information and synthesize them very quickly and provide a very quick feedback. Of course, quick doesn't mean good. So some of the feedback may be meaningless. So we have to understand and have to be aware and have to iterate, so which is important. And then of course, every different students may have different questions, and then that's why they may ask different things, and the system the system can actually respond to everybody personally. Every time the answers can be tailor-made, can be different, etc. Okay, we use these tools to replicate content for their coursework. So sometimes it's wrong content, so which is easily to be detected. Of course, there are different kinds of alternatives. So in Hong Kong U, we can use the Microsoft Open AI surface. So of course, Microsoft itself also has the new Bing version, so which also incorporate 3.5 and GPT-4. We have Proximity AI. So for most of the AI surface, they can't provide proper citations, but this one can. And then POE is the one that actually with different kinds of tools, AI engines, etc. I will show you some more examples. Okay, so maybe we can start from some demonstration first. So let me jump to another page. So here shows the ChatGPT environment. So chatgpt.hongkong.hk, and you can see the pages. This is the conversations, and you can type the things here. Tokens, that means the content they have used. Okay, so let me try something easy first. Okay, because I'm so let's talk about sustainable development goals, and which is there are hundreds of goals. So let's pick one of them, 4.7, and you can see they need some time to synthesize the content, which is something related to quality education. So which is true, and then you can read for details later on, etc. So 4.7 is also on actually promoting sustainable education. So maybe the discussion is too long. So let me pick another one. So just try to summarize within 30 words, and the system can give the response quite quickly. So that's why we can actually add extra conditions, assumptions to tailor-make to such that the system can make some answers more relevant to you. Okay, and of course, you can do various kinds of things. I will give you some more examples. Okay, some of you may think, some of you may think, oh, okay, so ASA is fine. So my course is STEM subject, so mathematics, calculations, etc. So ChatGPT can't answer them. or you want to import some research questions that involves calculations and whether the system can help me to solve some of the things. Here shows an example. So you can see it's an economic question. So supply and demand chain, and then and talking about the test, and in particular, it's not the total test per unit. So that means with some more calculations and assumptions behind. So can the system answer this question? I can tell you it's not correct. So the final answer is not correct. But if you check in details, step 1 and 2 is correct. They use the correct concept, have the correct calculations, and then send this information to then step 2 and calculate again. But later on, they start to use the wrong concept starting from step 3. So that's why the rest of the calculations is wrong. But the explanation is correct. So just pick the wrong concept. So that's why it's partially correct. So if you are a teacher, you may give them maybe 30% of the score, maybe, or 40%, etc. So that's why you may have to think, actually, we can use it for some mathematical calculations, of course, but the students may also use it. So if you need to design some questions, you may need to think in depth. So how should we design? Okay, so another question is, okay, so because different people or students or teachers actually is mentioning, oh, ChatGPT can't give me a relevant or correct or perfect answer. So can ChatGPT give you a correct or relevant answer just based on a very simple instruction? So improve this paragraph, blah, 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 etc. So the answer is no. So instead of using just these 3 terms, I can expand it to a very long answer. Okay, so which is that's why prompt engineering comes in. So with some prompt engineering techniques, the system can give you more accurate, perfect, or relevant answer. So here shows an example. So so you can see the first paragraph is on defining the role or the task. So I want you to act as a translator, corrector, improver, and then give you some more detailed instructions on what to do, and to make the model to provide better response or a further explanation. Okay, replace some simple words into something more beautiful, elegant, and up-level English words and sentence. Make the same meaning, but may ignore literally, and then only provide correction and improvement, but do not need to write explanations. And then the sentence, blah, blah, blah. So you can see is first of all providing instructions for what to do, extra details to make the model more able to provide better response. So more instructions in particular. So and the output indicator. So what to be an output indicator, what to be include or not include. So in here is not to provide extra explanations. So here shows an example. So I can give you one. So let me have a look. Okay, so let's go to this system again, and you can see you can have a conversation back and forth. But since we jump to a new topic, so we can just go to a new topic now. Okay, and then I'll just copy and paste the content. Maybe I can skip some of the content, just make it faster for the calculations. I just copy and paste the paragraph that I just mentioned. And then this is sentence I want to further improve, so which is also on SDG4 quality education. And you can see the contents. So children and young people, they replaced by some other terms. And then with other things, etc. So achieve universal literacy and numeracy, accomplish worldwide proficiency in reading and arithmetic. So you can see the system actually can write better English or better language. So this is how we can use it. So with longer instructions, the answer can be more accurate, and then etc. Okay, another scenario. So I'm a part-time teacher. So that's why I may want to think of asking students to write some essay questions. So this is a typical essay assignment. So first of all, I want to ask okay, so I need to define the roles or targets. So Master of Education students want them to write something about technologies for K-12. What I can do through the ChatGPT is first of all a question, and then I can write an essay sample, and then create a rubric, and then create the essay. So let me jump to here. So again, a new topic. And then of course, you can, by the way, you can actually get into the chat history. So just remember, don't refresh the browser, otherwise all the chat history will be gone. Okay, so let's try this one. I want you to be a university professor, and then so come up with an essay question. So this is the one. So potential challenges in implementing them effectively. Okay, so and then let the system give me a grading rubric. So it takes some time. Okay, once after some computations, and you can see they have the results of criteria, content, structure, writing, etc., reference, and then they have 5 categories and 4 criteria, and you can see all those wordings and descriptors are shown here. And we can copy and paste it and become something that can be used. Okay, and then another one will be writing a sample essay. So 300 words. And here shows the questions. So here shows the answers, and then of course the first challenge, and then some other challenge, etc. And in conclusion, it looks like something that will be a B or B minus, etc. And then you can get it directly. And of course, you can also ask the system to grade this essay. So you can see, so A, B's content, structure, writing, and you can see since they don't have any reference, so you can see the reference is unknown, and then final score is 4, or they should consider a 0 and then lower overall score. So you can see a whole process. So creating questions, and then write essay, create rubric, and then grade it. So that's why if we students can even do the same thing. So that's why if you want to create an essay assignment, you have to do something which is not that typical or standard. Otherwise, student will get the answer and even the rubric and even grade them very easily. And another one is designing face-to-face training. So again, for when I create these workshop, I actually ask the ChatGPT something. So I just consider it as a coach, and then back to have our perspective taker to back and forth to find out throw some ideas, and then back and forth to at the end come up with the content. Okay, so let's talk about some prompts that I have think about. So if I want to teach teachers about generative AI, what should I teach? Okay, so based on, and then the system provide me 8 topics, and then I'll talk about, okay, based on these topics, so can you suggest a engaging workshop title? So you can change this term engaging to something else, more formal, more juicy, more popular, more common, etc. And then, okay, so the system give me 5 to 6 examples. I pick one of them and then rewrite, and then become the last one. So creating the unseen, blah, 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 blah. Can you design a 150 words description for the workshop? And then the system, based on the existing discussions and conversation, they create a 150 description. Okay, and then I may be in the training, I want to extract some data. Or I can also ask the system to write some Python code, and then even drawing something. So drawing utility flag, I can show you some later on, and even show the location. Okay, so let me jump to here again. What I want to say is, for example, another scenario is I actually want to write something to summarize what I discussed on SDG. So that's why I actually, and I don't want to write because it takes time to write 500 words, but I think it will be more effective if I just present, say something randomly through Zoom, and then I can have a Zoom to record the whole thing, and then generate a script. And then what I try to do is try to fit in the script into ChatGPT and then ask ChatGPT to write a summary. So here shows what I did before. So I'm first of all, I need to define the system to be a researcher on teaching SDGs. So through this sentence, actually the system can provide more accurate and more relevant answers. So try to summarize the following script according to 500-word summary. And then the summaries provide these type of things: background, significance, novelty, potential impact. So that's why we, first of all, the roles, and then the instructions of things to do, the things that should be included, etc. And then I copy and paste the script from the Zoom recording to here. And you can see part of the example. So you can see SDT, so which should be SDG. And even for the first sentence, it's already not structured incomprehensible. And I have 30 minutes of this kind of incomprehensible script based on the Zoom recording. Maybe my English is not good enough. Just import all the scripts to ChatGPT. And actually, the system can provide me quite a decent 500 summary. Of course, need some changing wordings, improvement, etc. But at least the system able to convert my 30 minutes presentation into a 500 summary, more or less with the concepts correct. Of course, we need to change and improve. That's something that I need to do. And of course, there are also some other scenarios. For example, when I encounter something that I haven't tried before. Okay, I think I want to try something on accessible learning. So which is on providing an environment which is favorable and suitable for all kinds of students. So some students may have some special educational needs. Some students may have some special learning habits, etc. So can we design an environment that can be used in large class, etc. So universal design of learning is a kind of framework for this kind of accessible learning environment design. So I want to adopt in large class, but I know nothing about this. So I again ask the expert on this. Okay, so let me start the problem. So again, define, okay, you are expert on UDL. So you know how to adopt in large class in order to support students with different learning habits to learn through their own ways. So this is the prompt. So give them define the role and also some extra details. Okay, and then I ask 8 questions on various perspectives in UDL. So the reasons, the things that we'll be aware of, the first thing that we should try, etc. So we ask 8 questions, and then the system provide me quite long explanations. And then, of course, at the end, after these 8 questions, conversations, I ask the system. So based on our previous discussions on UDL, can you give me a 200 summary? And the system provide me a 200 summary. So this is another kind of thinking. So if we know nothing about a certain area, we can ask some questions back and forth and then ask the system to provide summary. So the previous one, we import the script or import the notes, writing notes or research notes that we have, and then come up with a summary. This one, asking as an agent to ask some things back and forth, and then add as a secretary to do a summary. So which speed up the whole thinking process and writing process. And of course, as a researcher, we need to think because we need to think, we need to evaluate whether the results is correct or not. Because the system, as I mentioned, the system can provide wrong results very confidently, and you are the one, and we are the one to evaluate the result whether they are correct or not. I believe all of you may want to write something, ask the system to generate something more relevant. Are there some tips? Here are some of the tips. So first of all, define the roles and purpose. Let the system know what do you want for, and then they will provide more relevant answers. So the purpose and the role. And then second is provide some examples. So which is what we call the field sort. So for zero thoughts, that means you just ask them and then doesn't give any examples. So field sorts, that means you provide them examples. For example, give me 5 kinds of fruits. Some of the examples is apple, orange, grapes, and then the answer will be more accurate and relevant if you provide these kind of examples first. Okay, you can answer. You can ask pop questions if the answer is not perfect, it's not correct. You want to have a better answer. You can ask follow-up questions. let the system to refund the answer. And you can also instruct the system, tell the system the logic for solving the question. So in those TED terms, that is chain of thought. So you can say, okay, in order to answer this question, so you should go through step 1 and using this algorithm. Step 2 using this approach, etc. And if you have no idea, so you don't know the logic how to solve the question, so you can even ask the ChatGPT to guide you to raise some questions and define the logic, and then in order to help the system itself to have the logic, good correct logic, and then come up with a more relevant answers. And you can do is also ask the system to rethink. So you're not sure whether the answer is correct or not. You ask the system to think again, give another example, give another answer, and confirm the provided answer. Okay, so is your answer correct? Can you think again? So you can just have this kind of conversation, and then the bot will compile again and to see if the answer is correct. And there are so many prompting techniques. We can have some discussions in the physical workshop, or ask me, or go online to search for this kind of writing tips. Okay, so before going to detections or some demonstrations, so let me see if I missed anything. Okay, no. Okay, let's talk about the environment. So as I mentioned, so this is the Hong Kong U ChatGPT system. And then I actually demonstrate already. So this is the system, and you can have all the materials here. If you want to check the previous history as shown here, if you want to copy your existing discussions, just here, copy, and then you can have those things. And of course, if you want to have a new topic, so because for this kind of conversations, you have to actually keep a history record, a chat history. So that's why if you are talking a new topic, and you don't want the existing questions or the conversation affect or influence or new discussions. So what I suggest is a new topic, and you can have the rings again and then try the discussions again. Okay, and you can see settings here, and yes, you have so many things as mentioned. So the number of words, the response, temperature, that means whether it's creative or not. So to be more humble or to be more creative. So you can change this parameter, or you can define in the ChatGPT system, and then with different tasks, etc., the number of pass messages included, etc. Of course, sign out. So here shows the environment. So I hope you actually enjoy using it. Again, if you have any questions, etc., so please contact ITS for some ideas. And here shows the POE.com and with 4 search engines. And we have a hands-on guide. You can try to have a note. And then we have a ChatGPT is one of them, more generic one. But if you're more focused on programming or creative writing, you can use other engines. So then we just click it to show you examples. And here shows the results, settings, profile, etc. So it's free to use. So you need to log in through maybe your Google account. And there are different engines already. So most general will be ChatGPT, and you can just type anything here. Okay, so let me see. Let me try this again. So as I mentioned, so can we draw a Ethernet thread again? So of course, the system can provide you a graphical information, but you can see they can provide a SVG code, and you just copy and paste this paragraph, and you will see the thread. Okay. Then you can also try some things else, etc. So if you try to find a location, they will give you a Google map. If you try to go for some chemical equations, they can provide you the chemical equations, etc. And then you can have all kinds of conversations. Okay, so let's jump to another topic, which is on the detection. For those AI detection tools, first of all, my general comment is that they are not perfect. So sometimes give you false positive answers, sometimes give you false negative answers. So that's why you can totally rely on those tools. For those tools, they actually use the linguistic characteristics for the detection. So ChatGPT 0 is the most common one, or the first appear one. Turnitin, which is shown here, I will show you more information. And then OpenAI test classifier, which is from OpenAI, that means the more official one. Both for the GPT-0 and the OpenAI one, they will give you a percentage. So determine whether this article is yes or no, written by AI. But for Turnitin, they will give you some environment like this, highlight the content that they suspect is created by ChatGPT or by AI tools, and they give you a metric here. So showing the proportion of content which is created by OpenAI, by generative AI. Again, my concern will be, although it looks like plagiarism detection, but the mechanism is different. In particular, for plagiarism detection, they seldom have the false positive cases. But for AI detection, they have a significant number of false positive cases and of course false negative. So that's why if you have this paragraph highlighted, so do you think there is a possibility that not all the content are created by AI? So you have to check with students. And sometimes students, if they write things very structured way, it looks like mechanical things, and then so it will also be detected. So that's why don't just rely on the highlighted content and the metric. So you have to check it case by case, and in particular, you have to be. And the second thing is Turnitin. Right now, you can use it. You can use this kind of AI detection surface in the existing Turnitin assignment already. So for the coming semester end, when you student ask submit the essay as well as the group project report, actually for the plagiarism detection page, bottom right there will be a button, so which is called AI detection, and you can, when you click the icon, you will jump into this page like this one. So it's already embedded in the Turnitin assignment, so you can use it right now. You can use it as you don't need to copy and paste everything to the detection tools again for detection. So everything has to be embedded in Turnitin, so you can have a try. And of course, if you have any questions, so feel free to contact me on those detection things. And of course, Turnitin actually provide a lot of information on academic integrity. I really suggest you to go to have a look. And there are lots of materials here. For example, we can have the rubric. So let's get into the rubric to have a look. And you can see here shows the rubric, so showing, okay, in order to avoid students using AI to create the content, so you should include these several things. So whether there's student voice in the discussion, so if by AI will be less student voice. So that's why you have to consider in the essay, require students to write something about themselves to the audience. So try to think about, so try to include reasoning and critical thinking skills. Try to check the right source and reference and then provide personalization. Try to ask students to reference on something that require their presence or personal experience. So in that case, so the system may be more difficult to generate the contents. And then, of course, there are also materials shown here. You can check the rubric, the checklist, and then so these rubrics actually help you to design better assignments such that students have more difficulties to just direct submit the answers created by ChatGPT. AI may be able to do lots of things, but right now we still need to we are the one to evaluate the answers. And AI itself, I'm pretty sure they can't do all things by themselves. So humans should be in the loop. As a teacher, we may need to think how we can leverage on ChatGPT to teach better, do better research, work faster, and to support more students and communities. So that's what I also wish. So that's the end of today's training. If you want to have more conversation, feel free to contact me through emails or attend the physical workshops or attend CTO events. See you in other workshops.